People who eat entire meals without drinking anything, how the fuck do you it? Conditioning. When I was little I wasn't allowed a drink until I finished my food. I also wasn't allowed bread, if we were eating it with the meal. I had a habit of drinking my milk, eating the bread, and insisting I was full, only to claim imminent death by starvation 30 minutes later. Chewing and swallowing correctly. People who need a bunch of liquids usually swallow incorrectly. That sounds weird, but there is a wrong and a right way to swallow. I'm pretty sure because I have active salivary glands, as soon as I think about eating my mouth waters lol. Chewing food well enough. I had a nutrition teacher state that you should drink your water first in totality and then eat your meal. I've done that ever since. She probably was full of it, I don't know, it is habit now. It's a great way to avoid overeating. I always feel stuffed after lunch, but I never eat more than a sandwich and a couple of chips. Yes, it's so easy to overeat. Drinking water before the meal helps you stop before you get too full. Another tip I read here was that if you're still feeling hungry after eating, drink a glass of water. It helps. Pick up fork, stab food, insert into mouth. Repeat steps until all food is gone. I just do. I can't imagine why people need a drink when they eat. If it's there, sure I'll drink it, but definitely don't require it to eat a meal. In fact, some people naturally produce little saliva, so it is difficult to eat without drinking. Or by eating while drinking something for years, they began to produce less saliva. I have swallowing issues and sometimes can't get food down without a sip of my drink. Not sure if it's saliva related or not. Get checked for GERD. Your esophagus may be hardening due to acid reflux. It increases your risk of throat cancer. I often see people who will get a water before their meal and take maybe 3 sips of it by the end of the meal. On the other hand, my thirsty ass is usually on my 3rd cup of water by the time the food hits the table, and I'll generally have 4 to 5 cups when it's all said and done, depending on the size. Granted, I have a swallowing issue that basically necessitates my need for ice-cold H2O, but even after getting it fixed I still drink a lot of water with every meal. So, people who don't drink liquids with your meals, is your mouth just a never-ending Willy Wonka factory for saliva? Did you chug a big gulp before entering the restaurant? Are you just trying to show off for your friends? Is drinking at the table rude in your culture? How do you do it? From the opposing side, how the fuck do you eat with a belly full of liquid? Seriously, the question also kind of gives my answer. I can't eat with my stomach full of liquid, it makes me feel sick. I also don't like to mix or dilute the flavor of my meal with a drink. The only time I'll drink while still eating, is if I chewed poorly and something gets stuck in my throat, then I'll drink something to wash it down. I am exactly the same. To be honest, until I read the question I never considered it a weird thing to eat a meal without drinking. Sometimes I won't even have a drink at all. For as long as I can remember, I've always eaten my meals one thing at a time. So, for example, eating all the French fries and then the hamburger. It used to be worse in that I would separate everything, like taking all the meat out of spaghetti and eating the pasta then the meat. This extends to drinking, too. I too drink all the hydrogens before I even touch them oxygens. You and your date both reach for the pitcher. One oxygen atom left, wanna split it? Restaurant explodes. Drinking water half hour before you eat will help you digest your food better. Not drinking during your meal will also help you digest your food better. Here's how it was explained to me. When you drink before your meal, it allows your stomach to increase the protective layer coating your stomach, protecting the stomach wall from your digestive acids. This mucus layer contains alkaline minerals to neutralize the acids and has been shown to increase with water consumption. Not drinking during your meal ensures your digestive acids are not diluted by neutral water. The amount of water varies by person, location and activity, but as a general guide it works for me. The best thing to do is find what works for you. That's my explanation for why I don't eat and drink at the same time. Except for small amounts of water as a lubricant. I do the food in my mouth and chew on it. As long as the food isn't drier than California, it's usually tolerable. Why would you need to drink? It's pretty common in China not to have a drink with your meal, so a pretty major portion of the world doesn't regularly drink with their meal. Of course, it also depends on the food items being consumed. The drier the food, the more likely someone is to consume a beverage. If I drink during a meal, I have issues finishing my meal because I am more prone to swallowing air. It makes eating very uncomfortable even if I am still hungry because I just end up with a bunch of air in my stomach. Burping is the only thing that will help, and my dad had a similar problem, so I get to burp freely when eating with my family, haha. Basically, I have to put off drinking to enjoy my meal in full. I also have to avoid drinking with straws or having a drink with ice because it exacerbates the issue. Exacerbates. Eat food with a lot of water in it. I almost never drink anything with meals that include cucumber salad. Cucumber is 95% water, and I chow a lot of it. I'm not thirsty during the 10 minutes I'm eating, so why the fuck would I drink? That's weird to me. I'm not thirsty when I eat either, but if I don't drink after eating then something feels off. It's not the exact same feeling as thirst, but something like, I need to wash this down or it'll bother me for a while. Oddly, I'm better at ignoring this feeling when I eat out. Interesting, must come down to physiology. I produce a lot of saliva even when not hungry, so that might explain why I never feel the need for a drink when eating. Fuck if I know. My grandmother would get mad if I drank too much water while eating soup. But it's salty. Yes, this is definitely an old-fashioned way of thinking, especially for Europeans. I remember always needing to drink a ton while eating and getting in trouble for it. Wow, I thought this was just a family grievance. Didn't realize it was European gripe. I've never thought about it, but most meals at home I don't drink anything while eating. Sometimes I'll have coffee with breakfast, but usually I've had my coffee by the time I'm eating breakfast. If I go out to a restaurant I'll drink water with the meal, but at home, most of my meals 99% of the time I'm just eating and not drinking. It's actually really bad for your digestive system to drink while eating, hence feeling bloated and the itis sensation. Ideally, you're supposed to wait at least 20 to 30 minutes after eating. Pretty easily. Been doing it since I was a kid. Just habit. My time in the army reinforced it. At basic we had to eat before we could drink. To this day I don't drink till my food is gone. My kids think it's weird, my wife is used to it. I just kinda do it, I guess. If there is water or a drink in front of me I will drink it while I eat, but if there is no drink, I am too lazy to either get one or too anxious to ask for one, so I kinda just don't drink anything then, if that makes sense. I am well hydrated normally. My mouth is not normally dry, so chewing and swallowing is not a difficult task. I don't know. I just don't really have the urge to drink while eating. I'm usually enjoying the taste of my food too much. I didn't know this was a weird thing. I never drink while eating. I never feel I need to. I do feel grossed out sometimes watching people eat and drink at the same time. Like watching someone chew, then drink water, then swallow. Everything is so gross. That's not the point of Ops Post. Stuff mouth, chew, swallow, have a sip of wine, beer or water. Not mixing drinks and food in your mouth like a smoothie from the abyss of hell. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's gross. I had an old roommate eat like that and it was horrendous. I think people who always have to drink with their meals are weird. I drink when I'm thirsty. I'm always looked at weirdly for not ordering a drink with my meals at fast food joints, but I guess I just make enough saliva. Plus I'm saving money while you're drinking your money away. Slurp on that. Real hydro homies get the water cup. WTF, who can't do this? Do you not produce saliva or something? Usually when the food is so good, I don't even think about taking a sip, lol.